Hi guys, Darren from Venomfluidart. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Fluid Art Express. Up first you would have seen Taslima from Taslima Maya Art. After me we have Kristey from Creations by Kristey, Shannon from ShanB Fluid Art, Bubbles from Venomfluidart, and last but not least, Tony the Hippy Dippy Painter Man. So, stay on board and enjoy the ride. So, what I figured I would do today is something totally different. Now, I do a fair bit of embellishment work on a lot of my pieces that either don't turn out the way I want them to, or I'll custom make a background just to suit a certain type of embellishment, like you'll see on the screen now. But I've never ever showed you the wood grain ones. So here is one that looks like wood grain. Might be better if I do a little flyover of it so you can actually see the grain properly, which I will do. But that's just basic raw MDF. Okay, so when you look at the front, flip it over, it's just basic MDF. So I figured I'd show you how I do fake wood grain from just MDF. What I'm using is these gesso brushes, pretty cheap, like $6.95 for 3 over here from Montmart. They're a cool soft brush. Tend to work a bit better than a stiff, like painter's type brush. We have our MDF round, which is just basic, what thickness was that? 12 mil. So what's that? The half-inch MDF. And all I've done is cut that out into a round. We're going to use Elmer's school glue or glue all. Either way, it doesn't matter. Any PVA type glue works. Little container to stick the glue in. And some 240 grit sandpaper. So, what we'll do is, I'll move that to one side, that to one side. We'll grit our MDF round. Now, the cool thing about MDF is, it's not real wood. It's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sheets of paper that are resin glued together. And then they get heat pressed. So the top and the back is usually sealed pretty well from the heat from the press. The edges, on the other hand, soak up paint and glue and stuff like that really easy. So what I usually do is grab my 240 grit and sand the edge, which closes off all those little sheets of paper. Alright, so you can tell the difference between where it's sanded and where it's not. Alright, so all we're going to do is sand that all the way around. The better you can close off them sheets, the better. It doesn't absorb the glue in as much. Also the rounded lip, I sand that over as well. So all the way around. Okay, like that. Nice and simple. Give it a blow, give it a wipe over, just get any dust off. I don't worry about the top face of it because that's pretty much sealed anyway. Then what we're going to do is grab my PVA glue. Pour some into this little container. Right, and we're just going to use it straight. I'm not going to bother watering it down or anything like that. Just straight glue. Right. Going to grab our brush, dip it in the glue. Start with the edges first. Just dab glue on and brush it in. So what I'll usually do is do a couple of coats of glue, especially around the edge. So I'll give that maybe 2 or 3 coats on the edge and maybe 2 coats on the top. I'll let it dry about an hour in between each coat. So if you're going to make up a couple, that works out pretty good. You can just do them in batches. So all we're doing is just brushing that glue. Make sure you get that top edge. So that top rounded over edge is where the cutter's been through it. So it opens up the grain in the MDF. Alright. Getting there, people. Pretty close. Alright, so there's our edge pretty much done. Just smooth it out. Make sure there's no lumpy bits. Or any brush fibres that come out of your brush. Alright. So then what we're going to do is glue the top part of it. Try to go just one direction. Gives you a more realistic wood grain effect. So I'll just brush that on. Make sure everywhere's coated. Otherwise, if you miss a bit, when we add our next little piece of the puzzle on, you're going to get really dark spots, which you don't want. Alright, so give it a good coat like that. Then what I'll do is just give it some brush strokes. I want brush strokes in it, I don't want it dead smooth. Which gives you more of a realistic wood grain effect. So all the same direction. Now try and pick a PVA glue that dries clear, because not all does. Then again, it doesn't really matter for what we're going to do with it, but it comes in handy if you're using it for other projects too. Like mixing with tube paints for pours and things like that. Alright, so all we do is brush that on. Get our brush strokes nice. Make it look like a bit of a wood grain effect. Give it a little wiggle here and there. Like that. Alright. What we're going to do is wash the brush out while that dries. Dry it out thoroughly. That way you can do your second coat once this is dry. So we'll put this off to one side, and I'll let that dry. Once it's dry, I'll come back, give it another coat. I won't bother doing that on camera because it's exactly the same as the first coat. And then I will show you what we do next. Okie dokie. Now that the glue has dried, what we are going to do is put some gloves on. Number 1. Then we're going to use some wood stain, which is this stuff here. Now if you don't use gloves, this stuff stains your fingers really, really bad. and takes forever for it to come off. Alright, then we're going to just use a little cloth like this, fold it over a couple of times like that. We're going to grab our wood stain, alright, that goes over the top, tip it upside down like that. Then all we're going to do is brush it around the edges like that. Now you can use a microfiber cloth, you can use paper towel. Paper towel tends to come apart a bit and leave fluffy bits everywhere, so not really great. You're better off with like a Chuck's type duster or whatever you can get your hands on. Right, so we do the edge, load that up again. Now the direction of our brush strokes are this direction. It makes it hard for you to see, but that's the direction they are. What I do is just wipe it on like this. And there you have a fake wood grain look. Super easy to do. If you want it darker, you just let this flash off for about 10-15 minutes, then give it another coat over the top. And it'll get darker and darker and darker the more you add to it. So what we'll do is grab some more, and I can show you by adding more on. It gets darker and darker as you go. Like that. Alright, I'll do a flyover so you can probably see that better in a flyover than just looking at it through the camera, because that looks pretty dark from what I'm looking at. That way you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Yeah, I just thought that was a really cool trick to show you different ways of doing backgrounds and things like that for your embellishment projects. Now you can either use paint skins and things like that, cut them out into shapes and glue them on, or you can get out your surf paints, Posca pens, whatever you like, draw your little designs on like I did with the fish. Use this little dude. So yeah, the sky's the limit. What I usually do now is I'll put that aside to one spot where it's out of the wind, out of direct sunlight. Preferably put a cardboard box over it or something like that. That way you won't get dust and things in it as it's flashing off. Leave it for about 24 hours. That way it'll be bone dry for when you go in and start doing your little embellishment projects on it. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Alright, I think we might have a quick paint and then we'll call it a day. Okie dokie, let's have a play. So what I'm going to do is, this one will be the background for an embellishment project I'm going to do. I'll probably do a big cockatoo on it or something like that. So I'm going to do just a whole heap of swipes to give us a crazy sort of coloured background. And hopefully it'll turn out pretty cool. So what I've done is made up a whole heap of pastel sort of colours. I'm just going to lay colours down all over the place and then do swipes all over. So what I might do is speed this bit up for you so you don't have to sit and watch the whole thing. Okie dokie. So, now that I've got all them colours down, what I will do is use some cell activator and swipe over that. I might go with a white in the middle. Which is Amsterdam Titanium White. Mixed with Australian Floetrol. Might actually grab out some black and some purple cell activator. So I'm just going to put black and white on that one. Gives it like a grey sort of look to it. And go white and purple. Like that. I might go black, purple and white. Like that one. Just load up whole heaps of different types of swipes as I go. Because all it's going to be is, I'm not worried about the composition that much. Because there's going to be a embellished cockatoo over the top of it. So that one's just white and purple. Some white, black and purple for here. Now, the cool thing about these pastel colours that I made up is that they actually glow under a black light. So that's even more fun. Now I'm just going to add some squiggly bits here, through there and everywhere. So like I said, it's just going to be a crazy background, and the actual cockatoo is going to be over the top of it, which I will definitely show you all as it progresses. So you'll get to see that once this is dried and I start doing my little embellishment pieces on it. Obviously it'll take a couple of weeks because it takes a while for the paint to dry enough for me to actually draw all over it. So alright, all we're going to do is spin that one out. Let's see what we get. I'm just going to put that down there in the middle. Just remember, the bigger your piece is, the more paint's going to come off it. As you spin it, it's going to really move the paint. Smaller stuff like a 4-inch coaster, you'll notice you can spin the living crap out of it and it hardly moves. Whereas something bigger, it doesn't take much movement to get that paint flowing. So just keep that in mind when you're spinning out something big. Oh, that's pretty. I like it. That's going to look awesome. Alright, so we'll pop that one up. Like I said, it'll be black light reactive. So you'll be able to shine a black light over the top and it's going to light up like a Christmas tree. Oh, that's so pretty. Big cockatoo right in the middle. It's going to look gorgeous. And what I'll do is leave sections of the cockatoo wide open so you can see the colours of the pour underneath. So, fun and games. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, hit like, share and subscribe. Ring that notification bell. Ding ding. That way you get to see all my videos as I release them. Up next we've got Kristey from Creations by Kristey. So click on her name in the title of this video. It'll take you to her channel. If you're in the live chat, just hit the link that I'm putting in there. It'll take you directly to her premiere for the day. And if you're a member of Paint Pouring by Venomfluidart on Facebook, I'll have a complete playlist link in there. So you only have to click on the one link and it plays through everybody's video on the Express today. Alrighty. That is it from me. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, just drop them in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And off we go to Kristey next. Alright guys, have fun, take care, And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.